You see that? It's time for another BGS and PSA card submission. What's going on, guys? Joe R, Vintage Pokemon, and we are going to be submitting a whole stack of cards off to PSA and BGS, and we're going to be using Trading Card World as sort of our middleman grading company extraordinaire. We bring our cards to them, they submit them to PSA or BGS for us, and they take care of all the paperwork, and if there's any problems with labels, they'll handle that for us as well. And it's really worked out well for me in the past, and I've trusted them with some really high value cards, so I've got no problem submitting with them to PSA and BGS. But I've got a fat stack here, and these are all going to be going to PSA. We've got a first edition Mischievous Hollow, and this is a really clean card. Actually, I cracked it. It was a CGC 9, and I kind of think this is probably going to get a PSA 8, unfortunately, but I figured, what the hell, give it a shot anyway, because I need a first edition PSA 9 Mischievous for my personal collection, and I just thought, what the heck. A buddy of mine actually gave me this card, so I have high hopes that it will grade well, but I'm not going to hold my breath, but fingers crossed either way, right? We've also got this first edition Bellossom from Neo Genesis, and I still need this one for the personal collection in a grade of 9 or higher as well. So beautiful card. You can see I'm trying very hard to submit only the cleanest of copies, and not every card that I'm submitting today is going to get a PSA 9 or 10. Probably none of them are going to get 10. You can hope, though. But I'm hoping that the minimum anything gets will be a PSA 7, hopefully. So we also have this Hypno from Fossil, first edition, and this is from a buy that I made years ago, actually, and this should grade well. I'm guessing at least a PSA 8. I'm hoping at least a PSA 8, but we'll have to see about that. Ditto, first edition, and you can see his beautiful copies of these cards. I mean, they look really clean, so I mean, I'm hoping that they will score very high for us because we actually have not collected a lot of Fossil, and there's a reason for that. We haven't collected a ton of Fossil. We were really going after actually some of the bigger cards first. We graded our Moltres and our Zapdos and a Gengar even, first edition PSA 9s in the past. And I have a lot of booster packs of Fossil as well, and I'm kind of holding out hope that we're going to open those, and some of them are heavy, so hopefully we get some really good pulls in those when the time comes as part of the 30-year plan. More on that in the future. I'm not going to get into that right now today, but we've got some really awesome banger videos that are going to be coming out later this year, in the future. It's just kind of tough. Once you become a big dad, you know, it's tough to have fun with your hobby still. So it's a little bit of a slow grind. Ooh, I've had this one sitting in my backlog for a long, long time. And I don't think it's going to get a PSA 9. I think it's going to get a PSA 8. You can see it's got, I think that's Fuzz. Yeah, that was Fuzz. I think it's got a PSA 8 potential because it's got a couple little dings here of like whitening. I can't spot it off the top of my head, but it's there if you take a close look at it. And so I think this is going to get the 8, but you know, you can always hope. Shining cards from Neo Destiny are always just so awesome. Love those. We've got a couple first edition base sets, and these are really tough to grade because they appear to be mint condition, and then when you take a really hard close look, it's weird. First edition base set can sometimes play tricks on you where it looks mint, but if you take a light to it, you can see that there's a little bit of a rough edge somewhere or a little bit more whitening than you might otherwise think. Like, this looks perfect, but it probably has a little bit of whitening here and there. But Pidgeotto, I've always loved this artwork from base set, and we've got 2 of them. So hopefully at least one of these can pull a 9. I don't think we're going to get any 10s, like I said, but hopefully one can get a 9. And, you know, we had to submit little buddy Pidgey to go with it. And this is a good example because this card looks exceptionally clean, but if you look, it does have a little bit, you almost can't even tell, but like, I feel like that's a little bit of a rough edge there on the left-hand back side, and that could probably hold this back from getting a 9. I think it might get a PSA 8, but I'm hoping it will score a 9. I mean, like I said, grading is human, at least with PSA for now. It is human. Ooh, we got some more Neo Destiny. Don't underestimate Neo Destiny. I mean, this was definitely, I think, the least printed of the Neo sets, I think, and is definitely one of the most popular sets. This scissor is super clean. Look at that swirl there in between the legs. So I'm super pumped to get some of these Neo Destiny cards back. I don't think these are going to score 9s. I think I'm hoping that they're going to score like 8s for me, and a lot of them are going to be for sale. Beautiful card. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Love it. And of course, this Espeon here. I mean, it's just killer. And Espeon is a big hitter too. And this I'm thinking is going to probably score an 8 tops. It's got silvering around the edges, and it's got a little bit of wear on the back here and there. But Espeon, you know, it's not even first edition, but these cards sell for over $100, some of them anyway. I sold a played Gengar from this set for $100 recently, and I was like, what? $100. So that is our PSA submission that's going out, but we've also got, we're going to try this again. We've got a Beckett submission that's going out, and this thing right here is the Jumbo Korokoro Charizard, and get the heck. That's what they gave us last time. Questionable authentic. Get out of here. It's a freaking real card. I just think, and from what I've gotten back from people in some comments was, chances are the BGS guy that was trying to grade this didn't know what it was, didn't care what it was, and he just kind of slapped it in the I don't know what it is pile. And it just got sent back. So I'm going to really make clear. I'm going to literally put a sticky note on Charizard's face that says, hey, Jumbo Korokoro Charizard. I'm going to put the exact label that I've seen on other BGS slabs before, and hopefully it comes back this time. If it doesn't, you know, I'm just going to call major BS on that because, I mean, come on. It's either that or they're just not grading this particular Jumbo card anymore, which I think would be stupid because the other companies definitely do it. I just really would like to have this with BGS. I've already got one in PSA 8, so I'd love to get one in BGS and see how the grade compares because it's a really clean copy too. Other cards we're sending off to BGS this time around. We've got this Raikou from Neo Revelations, and this might be actually a double hollow Raikou. I mean, it is super poppin', and that's why I think it might be a double hollow. I'm not entirely sure. I might actually. It's really tough. I'm considering sending this to PSA. I just think it'll do better with BGS, honestly. Part of my problem is that when it comes to grading with BGS or PSA, BGS obviously uses the 4 subgrades. And if 3 out of the 4 qualities of the card are really good, then that's going to help to bring the grade up. Whereas PSA, if even one of those qualities is down, that will kind of be the baseline for what grade the card is going to get, I've found in the past. And so I try to use that to my advantage when deciding what card to submit. I think this has a chance at a BGS 9, honestly. And so when you grade with BGS, if you get, let's say, an 8.5 on a surface because there's factory lines, and that could give you an 8 with PSA, but the card's well centered, the corners are sharp, there's no edge wear. Like with this card here, there's no edge wear, but the surface is a little problematic. So maybe it could get an 8.5 for surface, and that could get bumped up to a 9, but everything else being so good, I mean, it's really well centered. And it's first edition Meganium from Neo Genesis. Damn. This card's got a couple problems. It's got some edge wear and things. I think it would grade probably a PSA 7 or PSA 6. So that's why I'm going with BGS, because I think it could get pulled up a little bit by the grading system that we've got with them. So it's a first edition Fossil Moltres that's going to BGS. Same thing with this Doug Trio. A little bit of edge wear, a little bit of problems here and there, and I think it could grade higher with BGS for that reason. Similar with this first edition T17. Ooh, that is a big dinger of a card right there. But it does have a couple problems. Besides a lot of surface scratching, it does have some wear on the back. Not a ton, though. This is what I would classify as probably a PSA 7 range. It's what I had originally thought when I got this card years ago. And I think there's a chance it could get a BGS 8. So it's why we're submitting this thing with BGS. So we'll have to see about that. And last but certainly not least, we've got a first edition Porygon 2. Not sure if I'm going to change out what I'm submitting to which companies, but these are the cards I want to send in, and I wish us the best of luck with them, guys, because you know, we always want to get good returns, and I always love sharing them with you. So cross your fingers and wish us luck. We're going to be sending off this massive submission in the coming days ahead, and I can't wait for it to come back and share it with you guys in 2 separate videos. We're going to do one for PSA, one for BGS. So stay tuned, and we'll see you guys later for more grading vintage action. See you around.